Every summer, I coach what we call the ART, the Advanced Rider Training. It's a riding school taught at our local track. It's a Yamaha Champ School approved curriculum, and the goal is to help riders become safer and faster in an environment where students can go real-world speeds without having to worry about pesky things like oncoming traffic and deer. Before spending the better half of the day on track, we work on fundamental skills. And one thing seems to afflict a surprising number of riders. So let's start off with a quiz. Which foot position is correct? A, B, or C? Let's look at A first. This is what we see most often, even at the ART where riders are doing lots of cornering. For most, this is simply the most comfortable. On the shift side, your foot is in the perfect position to click a shift, and on the other side, your foot is resting on or covering the rear brake. So what's the problem? There are three big issues, and two are related to simply how much closer our toe is to the ground. In a street riding scenario, riding over a bump or even debris that can bounce up could impact the foot, and it's in a pretty vulnerable position. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal. Second, however, really comes into play when we make a turn. A dangling toe is very likely to hit the ground far sooner than most folks think. Now imagine that we are in a corner, our toe is nearly or actually starts dragging the ground, and then there's some debris. Finally, our leg is disengaged. It's harder to support our weight. Not that big of a deal in some situation, a bigger deal in others. Now on to B. This is what most of the foot position advice advocates for and what you see most often. Ball of the foot on the peg, right? This keeps our foot up out of harm's way, especially in corners. But there's also a problem with this. Look closely at the heel. When we have a relaxed heel like this, it acts like a hinge and it's not so easy to keep our leg engaged. We don't necessarily weight our pegs to get the bike to turn, but weighting the pegs does help keep our lower body connected to the bike. Now, on to the final option. Toe on the peg, but what's different? My heel, it's up. Our calf is flexed like a toe raise. This provides a significant advantage in that our leg has to be engaged. This keeps us connected to the bike. It also connects us to the bike near the center of the chassis or the frame. So instead of this position where we're mostly plopped onto the seat, raising our heel drives our weight into a more positive position. In other words, it's a more deliberate position that makes the bike respond more acutely to our movements. And lastly, and this is crazy, and I want you to go out and try this for yourself on your next ride. When you raise your heel, it takes an incredible amount of pressure out of your hands. Lean off the inside of your bike and take your hands off the handlebars. Now relax your ankle. Keeping that ankle flexed and the heel up takes a lot of weight off our hands. You'll also feel that when the heel is raised and we're driving our weight down into that inside foot peg, it's like the bike suddenly knows that we want to turn. By taking pressure off our hands, the front wheel is free to track into the corner more easily, and the chassis and the suspension just responds, and the bike will feel really planted. A lot of subtle benefits just from flexing our calf. Not bad, yeah? So back to our original question. Which foot position is correct? A, B, or C? If you chose C, you'd be wrong. If you chose A or B, you'd also be wrong because the correct answer is, it depends. The best riders in the world understand the importance of being adaptable, adjustable riders. We adapt our riding to our situation. Truth be told, a large portion of my riding on the street, my feet are in this position. I'm relaxed and I'm just riding along. Sometimes I'll ride like this for comfort or to keep water from splashing my toes, but in all honesty, this is the foot position I use the least. When it comes to any kind of meaningful cornering, this is the foot position we really want to be using. But last question, are both of my feet doing this in the corner? No. Toe on the peg with my heel up is what my inside foot is doing. My outside foot is doing something completely different. My foot moves forward with the heel of my boot hooked on the peg. Why do you suppose that is? A key component of good riding posture is that we want to rotate our chest into the corner. This makes it easier to see into the corner. By pointing our zipper into the corner, we don't have to twist our neck as much, and it's easier to reduce lean just by leaning forward. All this is made easier when we slide that outside foot forward. And it comes with the added bonus of connecting that entire outside leg to the bike, which again helps take weight off of our hands. You don't need to always ride with your toes on the pegs, and we don't have to avoid ever dangling our toes and hooking our heels on the pegs. Foot position is totally dynamic. We change it based on what we're doing and what we need to be doing. If you would like to know more about the advanced rider training that I coach, or if you'd like to just attend a track day where I'm there as a rider coach, I've put links in the description. I hope you've enjoyed this video and I hope you've learned something. If you'd like to see more videos like these, leave me a comment and consider supporting us by becoming a channel member. If you really like this video, I suspect you'll really like this one. Thank you so much for watching. Ride on and ride well.